I posted a thread on March 21st, a poll actually, and in this poll, I asked the question of these two characters, which one was actually ever called a sex doll or a sex bot, anything like that, or called over sexualized? Which of these two? And the options that I put forth were Vision and Alita. Now, I got 35 votes. Some people actually voted for Vision. I would like them to provide some sort of uh, proof that Vision was ever called over-sexualized or referred to as a sex doll or a sex bot, because I have ample evidence that Alita has been called that. And so, anyway, the point is, of these two characters, only one has actually had sex with a person. Only one has actually been in a romantic, like, yeah, sexual, long-term sexual relationship with a person. Only one. And if you look at them both of them are wearing tight fitting clothes. Both of them have relatively ideal figures, right? But to my knowledge, only one was ever called over-sexualized, and only one was referred to as a sex doll. Now, I don't even really know where to begin, but let me just show the one of the oldest examples before we get to what happened today. So the New York Times um, came out, what day was this? February 12th. Once again, before Alita had even entered the theaters, there was negative press already about the movie. People were attacking it, especially feminists, and doesn't stop. It's still going on now. But here's the proof that Alita was called a sex doll by Manola Dargis, and it's not just this person. It's been at least three, maybe two other people, or two other places where she has been called or referred to as a sex doll or a sex bot. And um, there was one line in here. Here, we'll read this one. No, I could just go on. I'm not even going to get into this one. It's just too loaded. But basically, if the gist of it is, if you're sexy, if you're female and you're sexy, feminists are going to have a problem with you unless you're a lesbian. Because unless you're a lesbian, then you're appealing to men, and this is the problem. You're appealing to men. If men love you, there's a problem. So today, the Mary Sue is back at it again, back on the assault against Alita, and this just piles up on the other feminist attacks on Alita. In this one by Screen Rant, she's called over-sexualized, and of course they said they accused the movie of whitewashing, even though Rosa Salazar is Latin or Latino, and um, yeah, just you can read the rest of those titles. It's basically the same thing again and again and again. But what the Mary Sue does is essentially right when Alita starts to have some success, right? And we have um, the fans being noticed, the fans being recognized, and now sequel talk is beginning. Uh, we're in that territory now. Over $402 million. We know that the movie is going to make its money back, and DVD, Blu-ray, and all that. And we know that James Cameron holds the rights to Alita. All he needs is a distributor. He holds complete rights to the movies, and he does not need Disney at all. He can always just take the sequel if he chooses to make one to a different distributor. Now Disney may have the first option to make a Disney movie, but that doesn't mean that James Cameron has to go with Disney. He can he can take Alita wherever he wants to because Alita is his property, or the movie rights and anime rights and all that stuff are his property. So nobody can tell him what to do with his property. Okay, moving on. So basically, anytime men find something that they like, there has to be a problem with it. And this is why I can't support feminism. It's too hypocritical. It's not okay to be feminine. It's not okay to be um, um, to love a man. It's not okay to be sexy if you're not going to do it and hate men at the same time. You know, you have to, like, you have to have a certain level of disdain for the opposite sex in order to be accepted at whatever you do. So my question is, why why would anybody expect me to love somebody who hates me? So Alita doesn't hate men. So of course men are going to love her back. What's wrong with that? That's the question that I have. What is wrong with a woman loving a man and a man loving her in return? Is this equality? Is this the equality that the feminists claim that they want? Because it's not adding up to me. So of course it begins. I'm not going to read this whole thing, just some of it. So MRA trolls. What are MRA? Men's rights activists. Essentially, excuse my French here, but I'm just going to say it. The feminists want the right to shit on you and everything that you love, and you not say anything about it. The analogy that I would use is a feminist would enter your space, right? She would enter your space, take a steaming dump on your laptop. You get mad, and she takes to the internet and says, women can't even take a dump without men getting upset. That's how it works. And for some reason, these male feminist allies just bend over and take it. But most men are not going to take it. Most men are going to push back. And most men are going to defend their right to exist. If men don't have rights, then you're not going for equality at all. You're going for female supremacy. So you can't get mad at men when they say, no, we're going to stand up for our rights. You're not going to walk all over us. And that's how I see the MRA. But essentially, you become an MRA just by saying, stop crapping on everything that I love. Stop crapping on me. Stop attacking me. Stop attacking the things that I love for loving me in return. Just stop attacking me. And of course, they're going to call me a fragile man, baby, or whatever. You know, like I said, they could take a dump on you. And if you say anything about it, then you're internet troll, basically. Just for standing up for yourself. So they say internet trolls, by definition, hate everything. They hate women running for office. They hate on non-white people in Star Wars. See, you, like I said, whatever you complain about, they're going to take it as you just hate the person, not what they're doing. So they could take a dump on your laptop, like I said, and then they will claim that you hate the fact that they took a dump simply because they're a woman. So I'm just going to skip past that and go to, um, let me read this line first. We here at the Mary Sue are unfortunately experts on this subject because every time we publish an article on these topics, we are inundated with angry comments, tweets, and hate mail from a host of angry anonymous dudes who are furious because women. Are you sure it's not because you are putting out heinous lies and attacking things that shouldn't be attacked, like Alita? The fact that you're attacking this movie, and of course people are going to push back. People are going to push back, and it's not just because women. So the most recent herpes-like outbreak of impotent male rage came. So you're allowed to take shots at us like that. You're allowed to take shots, and we're not supposed to say anything. That's not equality. This is why I cannot support feminism. When men in basements across America furiously scorned the release of Marvel's first female-led feature, actually Ant-Man and the Wasp was Marvel's first female-led. Her name was even in the title, The Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was the co-star. She was the co-lead. Wasp was the first female lead, not Captain Marvel. Man-boys were incensed over several things, including Brie Larson not smiling, her lack of a sexy outfit. I don't know anybody who's complained about her outfit. Her outspoken feminism. If her outspoken feminism is anything like your feminism, um, here it is. If her feminism is anything like yours, then yeah, people are going to say something. Let's see here. So, if you were a woman on social media who shared excitement over, okay, let's skip all past that. But okay, so but something else strange was happening, along with the usual Pepe face insults, blah 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 blah. Men thought here there was a call to action to support what these men thought was a true depiction of a female superhero, Alita Battle Angel, and that's what she is. What keeps her from being a true depiction of that? First of all, a hero is a person with great power who does great things. They don't actually have to even save anybody. That's a hero is just a person with great power who does great things. And that's what Alita is. So, because Alita doesn't hate men, um, that's a problem. Because a hero isn't supposed to be promoting this kind of what do you call it, misandry, right? This gynocentrism that we seem to be stuck in right now as a culture. Anyway, I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. Trolls all across the internet. That's the popular word now, because if they just call you a troll, then people are just going to dismiss you and not actually listen to the things that you're saying. So when you get upset at being dismissed as a troll, and then they say, "See, look how angry they are. They can't handle the fact that they're not the center of attention and all this kind of crap." You're punching down from the media. You're punching down at us. Anyway, uh, so let's go down here. They say the challenge failed. No, the Alita challenge is still going on, but she just has to say that the Alita went on to gross 84 million domestically and over 300 million worldwide, while Captain Marvel just sailed past 1 billion at the box office. Okay, well, we Alita could have done a lot better, but as you say, men. Let's just go up here. Let's find that first line. Um, where is it at? Where's it at? Mm, no, here it is. Here. But why did so many men glom onto Alita Battle Angel? All right. So as you said, men went to see Alita Battle Angel. So if Alita didn't get pull the same numbers as Captain Marvel did, what does that tell you? That tells you that the women didn't support Alita, right? The men were there. But you said men hate female characters. But at the same time, you admit that men were the ones who were there for Alita. See, $84 million, that's not a male and female, you know, that it could be, for all I know, it could be 50-50. But from what I'm hearing, it was all men. So I don't know. Let's go down here. I'm almost done. So as someone who reviewed Alita Battle Angel and enjoyed its wild special effects, whatever, I found Alita as a character to be the weakest part of the film because she didn't hate men. The Robot Girl Warrior taps into several problematic tropes regarding strong female leads, including Born Sexy Yesterday, which gives us an innocent childlike woman who possesses massive power but can't find their way without a man. Alita found her way without a man. She had agency. She went when Dr. Ito, her adoptive father, did not give her the help that she felt she needed. She broke away from him. She went off. I don't want to give away spoilers for those who haven't seen it, but I say she became a bounty hunter. She entered a bar. She tried to gather people to fight. She started a bar fight. She did all this while the men were telling her, don't do it. Dr. Ito didn't want to help her to he didn't want to allow her to become a bounty hunter. She did it without him. Hugo, when Alita went into the bounty hunter's bar, Hugo tried to stop her. He said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Just watch my back." There were no man telling her what to do. So this is a blatant lie. It's a blatant lie. See, anyway. But Alita also taps into the male fantasy of a submissive girl robot devoted to her man. I just explained exactly why Alita was not submissive. She was not submissive at all. She fell in love and she did things that a person who fell in love would do, but she was by no means submissive. Like when Hugo says to her in the movie, most guys would be afraid of a girl like you. And she asked him why. And he says, because you could rip my arm off and beat me with the wet end. And she joked to him saying, okay, well, don't piss me off. That doesn't sound very submissive to me. But because she is into this sort of heteronormative relationship in love with a male, there's a problem. If Alita was a lesbian, you wouldn't be hearing from the Mary Sue right now. You'll be hearing, actually you would. You'd be hearing about how great she is. But because she's with a man in this movie, they have to tear her down. I can't support feminism. I'm going to say it again. I can't support it. So from the, let me see here. But let's just focus on how much, what's wrong with a man having a fantasy anyway? What's wrong with us having a fantasy? Women are allowed to have fantasies, right? So anyway, from the moment Alita meets street hustler Hugo, she becomes immediately enamored of him. See, this is the problem right here. This is the thing they have the issue with. Him. He also happens to be the first male character she meets outside of her adopted father figure. Alita's slavish devotion to Hugo. Why is it a slavish devotion? When I just once again pointed out where she did things on her own that Hugo was against. I don't recall any point in the movie where Hugo told Alita to do anything. Everything Alita did, she did on her own. And I don't think she was, except for the motorball where he was basically, he asked her, he suggested to her that she should become a motorball player, and she agreed to if he would be her coach. He didn't tell her to. So let's see, just finish this up. Here, she embodies. Okay, this is talking about a character from Futurama. This character who embodies the sci-fi ideal of the female sex robot designed only to serve as her master. Speaking of that character um, from Futurama, but why even draw that comparison? We've seen this sex bot character many times in sci-fi. Why even bring up sex bots? Why bring up sex bots? Alita is not a sex bot, but perhaps something even worse. She is a love bot, a cyborg that is powered by an unshakable and unearned devotion to the first boy she meets. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with having an unshakable and unearned devotion to somebody? What is wrong with that? Early on in the film, she opens her chest cavity and literally offers her mechanical heart to Hugo. But here's what trips me up, y'all. What Alita offers isn't sex. Now, how many times do you hear these feminists complain about women being objectified for their bodies? How women being made into sexual objects? So here you have a character who is beautiful, but you can't, as far as we know, you can't have sex with her. So you literally cannot sexually objectify her because she, as far as we know, she can't have sex. Um, so this is a character that you should be behind. I mean, as a feminist, right? You should appreciate that Hugo has to love her for who she is inside and not for sex because she can't offer him that. So he actually fell in love with the person that she is inside that cyborg body. Women always, from what I used to hear at least, they always wanted a guy who loved her for who she was and not for her body. Well, that's what Hugo was. And Alita asked him, she said, does it bother you that I'm not completely human? Because she knew that she could not offer Hugo everything that he could get with a normal girl. That's just common sense. She understood that he was going to have to give up something to be with her. But instead of recognizing, hey, Hugo was not so bad of a guy, Alita brought that out of him, that he could actually love somebody for, anyway, just, I'm sorry, I'm making it too long. Let's just skip to the bottom here. So it's exactly this kind of female empowerment that entitled fanboys crave. A hot warrior woman who fights not for herself but for her man. No wonder she appeals to internet trolls. So because she loves a man, yeah. So it's just that's the whole problem. She fights not for herself but for a man. But that's not even true. That's not even true either, because her journey was to find out who she was, number one, and she was falling in love on the side. So if she was fighting for Hugo this whole time, tell me what problem did she solve for Hugo by fighting? What problem did she solve for Hugo by fighting? She didn't solve anything. Actually, she caused problems to Hugo because it was her starting that bar fight, and starting that fight with Zapan that led to some stuff happening to Hugo later. That fight wasn't for him. That fight was for herself. Everything Alita did was for herself, and then when she did go to Motorball, as he asked her, as he suggested. But once again, that was actually not once again, but that was actually part of a trap that somebody was trying to lead her into. So this thing is full of lies, and it's the most evil, vile kind of person or kind of people who will write this stuff about characters like Alita simply because they hate men so badly that they are willing to lie, to spread lies from their position in the media or their little blog here, their website here, and there's no integrity, there's no honesty. It's the most vile kind of human being. Um, it takes the most vile kind of human being in order to be able to write this kind of stuff, knowing that you're lying through your teeth.